Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. I hope you're all having a great day. I am here today with Natasha Kisten from Fit Like Mummy, and we're going to be talking about how to love your mum bod. So, welcome, Natasha.
Morning. I hope you're well. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm super excited for this chat.
It's an absolute pleasure. So, everybody that is watching, first thing, if you join in the discussion in the comments, you can ask questions. We'll be answering some questions at the end of the video, or you can just share your own experiences and you can win a self-care hamper from Natasha. Thanks, Natasha.
Pleasure.
Awesome. So, Natasha, if you could tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. How much of time do you have?
I've got all
Um, I'm
morning.
a, I'm a mom to two teenage boys. So they're 17 and 13, and it's weird that I introduced them first. Hey, but that's what moms do. When we talk about ourselves. I'm like 43 years old, and I found myself and my space that I'm comfortable in my 40s. So it's weird that that's happened, but yeah, that's what my blog, Fit Like Mommy, is all about. I'm an aviator by day, blogger, influencer, and everything else 24/7. I'm getting all your notifications saying we are live.
Yes. No, all my comments, everyone's saying good morning. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's me pretty much summed up very quickly.
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you so much. And for anybody that wants to know where to get Natasha's blog, it's fitlikemummy.com. So you can head over there and check out her stuff. And then we're also streaming to Natasha's page. So a lot of people might be thinking, who is this lady? So I am Lynne Huysamen and my blog is Kaboutjie.com. So you can find me over there. And I have two primary school children, 7 and 9 years old. And I started my parenting journey, thankfully late, because I spent my 20s being a drug addict and a complete mess, messing my life up. I was in the gutter. So I managed to crawl my way out. And thankfully, I only fell pregnant when I was clean. So I'm a bit of an older mom with younger kids, and I'm 42 years old. And I totally relate, Natasha, to kind of finding your groove over 40. I've spent most of my life stuffing it up and feeling very not having any self-confidence and not having any self-love. And yeah, maybe if I go another year and hit 43, I'll also be running around in my bikini, but I'm not quite yet. I've got my tankini and I'm on the beach in a costume, which I never felt comfortable with before. So maybe I just need that 1 year to get to that sweet spot. And then just to let everybody know, I chose Natasha because I love her Instagram. I don't follow a lot of people on Instagram, but I just love no, I'm serious. I love the vibe. I love the happiness and the confidence and I'm just going to put myself out there. And if you don't like it, go follow somebody else. I love that.
Pretty much.
I'm not really fond of the really Instagram accounts, if that makes sense. I don't like the
Yeah.
highly polished, beautiful, basically fake stuff. Yeah. So I love your channel. It's not maybe as Instagrammable as everybody else's, but I think that is a really, really good thing. And I think it's teaching our children. I've got a daughter, so I think I think boys have got a different sort of level of self-confidence. I think women have got this. I don't know why. I think we've got this deep shame related to our body, and how we've got to be perfect and how we look up to all the supermodels and the skinny sort of vibe and all of that. And I don't want to put myself out as perfect on Instagram because I don't think it sends out the right message to my daughter.
I totally agree with you. And I think the pressure from social media is so insane because, I think people see us and they assume our lives are perfect because we only
Yeah.
show a little fraction of our lives and not everything. Okay, I do generally share the unfiltered. And I love that you say, our page is not curated, it's not perfect. Um, I mean, half the time I just put a very unedited photo there and I'm like, well, people got a deal. But that's who I am. And I think being unapologetic in who you are is key to raising strong, confident children. But not just girls, hey. My boys, when I chat to them, they are conscious of their bodies and that kind of thing. So I think this generation, it has filtered onto the boys as well.
Yeah. Okay. Well, my son refuses to show his boobs. He's 7. I don't know what's with that. Maybe it's because he's always with me and my daughter and we can't show our boobs. I don't know. Or maybe it's a self-conscious thing.
Well, in our house, we walk around naked all day long. So, my son is 17, the big one, and the smaller one is 13. And they were like, Mom, are you going to put on clothes anytime soon? And I'm like, no, this is my house. And you shouldn't be having any sort of intonation about me when I walk around naked. So just deal.
Well, I
But
walk around naked. Well, I'm not walking around naked, but I mean, I'm always getting dressed. I'm in the bathroom, the door's open, or it's not, and the buggers just open it and come in and like poo next to me while I'm having my bubble bath. Oh, it's not nice. I like to have
this
my
is
bubble
such a
bath
sacred thing. Go away.
because we've got 2 bathrooms, but no, they're going to come in here, and as I'm enjoying my favorite bubbles, they come and add in a new fragrance next to my face. Anyway, I think that's for a new video. But yeah, basically, when I see your channel, I think, I don't want my kids on social media because it's so negative and so, I think, destructive. But if it was all like your channel, I'd be like, it's okay. You could go on Instagram. It's real.
I chatted to a friend yesterday and she was like, her son's 13. Should she be letting him use it? I'm like, I know a lot of parents are cautious, but I'm like, use it because this is their generation. This is how they do life. So you either start using it as an opportunity to teach them what's right and wrong, how to use it responsibly, or keep it away from them and you're in trouble because when they do get a hold of it, it's a craze and they can get into a lot of trouble. So I just use it as a learning experience. I'm often like, you see this page? Don't do that. So, and
Okay,
I'm
well,
all about being
yeah.
real. So, my eldest, I keep saying to him, when are you going to start to like grow your Instagram? And he's like, Mama, I don't care about people and what they think. I'm like, well, okay. So he doesn't care about his numbers and growing it. He's like, this is me. If you don't like me, too bad, which I think is pretty amazing that he's already there at 17.
Yeah, well, my kids come to me and say, how many likes did you get, Mom? And I'm like, it doesn't matter how many likes I got. I just put my stuff out there and then whatever happens.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we got, wow. Okay, I think this is going to be a massive topic. We've got 44 comments already.
Wow.
Ladies, we're going to come back to that and we're going to chat and engage. But Natasha, what I want to know from you so that I can get into my itsy bitsy teeny little bikini next summer, what are your tips for loving your mom bod?
You know what? I think it's really difficult to start in your 40s or later in life. But you have to learn to accept yourself and then you can love yourself. Everyone goes self-love. I'm like, no, that's the bottom end of the stick. You need to learn to accept that you're not going to be perfect. And even if you were a size 6 and you had children and you went back to a size 6, your body doesn't remain the same. So, your boobs are not sitting up here anymore. Your bum's not as firm, things like that. So it's just accepting that, what, being a mom does have an impact on your body. It's quite a remarkable thing that you get to carry a kid. And I think you need to take the positives out of that. But as a mom, you're also a role model. And if you really can't accept yourself, how can you accept your children to do the same? Because we preach it, right? But we can't take our own advice. So it's just really to slowly work on yourself. I'm big on journaling and living a life of gratitude. So every day, 5 things I'm grateful for, and I make my kids do it, because I don't think our generation was taught to focus on gratitude. When you went to meet family, what was the first thing they greeted you with? Oh, wow, you've put on weight. Oh, you thin. You look, it's almost like people are waiting for you to fail. And if you good, then there has to be a reason. And if you're not in a good space, then they want the drama that goes with it. Instead of just saying, it's life and there's seasons and life happens. So I think moms, we need to learn to be kinder to ourselves.
Yeah, I'm totally with you on that. And as a recovering alcoholic and drug addict, I've worked a rather intense program. I was in rehab for a full year. It was grueling. And then I actually worked in that same rehab for a year. After I left, I went back and worked there for a year. And it was amazing. And part of the program, part of what we have to do is there was one section on the 12 steps where we had to write down, our strengths and our weaknesses, the things that we love about ourselves and the things that we can improve. And what we all struggled with when I was as a patient, I remember all of us struggling. We could write a whole book on the stuff we don't like. And when it came to, what are our strengths, we could write like one line. And then we all sat there like.
Yeah, it's hard. It's a hard thing to do.
Yeah, it was terribly hard. And, so this self-loathing and stuff that we had, I mean, okay, we were a group of addicts. So I think we had maybe a lot more weaknesses and struggles than a lot of people have. But, everybody's got some amazing qualities. And if you can't see that in yourself, how are you ever going to love yourself and accept yourself for who you are?
That's so true. And I have to commend you for being honest and sharing your story. You started out saying I messed up my life, but I'm always we make choices, things happen. As long as we learn from it, right? Then it's not all bad. I mean, what you've gone through must have been horrific and hard and terrible. And there's reasons behind it. But I think forgiving ourselves is the first step to accepting who we are. Can I just forgive that, what, I messed up because I'm human and it's okay. Because I don't think anyone out there is perfect. And this idea that there's perfect moms, gosh, we got to trash that, right? Because if you're a perfect mom, I'd love to meet you. And I want to know how you get this all right. Because when you're sitting on the floor crying and you screaming at your children and you're a horrible monster, because it happens to moms, right? But no one puts that out there. No one puts it out there.
I have days that I'm very ashamed of, that I am not a very nice person.
But why? You are human. I was upset yesterday. My kids were like, "Mom, you're not allowed to be upset." And I was like, "Really?" Because I'm generally positive all the time, most of the time. And I was like, I'm allowed to feel sorry for myself. I'm allowed to have a bad day. Can I just be left alone? They're like, you're not allowed to be. And they're not used to it. So they were like, okay, something's wrong. So I was getting foot massages and all of that. And I was like, we've got to show kids the downside of life as well. That life isn't perfect. Why do we shelter them from the fact that shit happens? Sorry, guys. I said that. It slipped out.
No, totally. I get you. That's how you got to say it. And I love what you say now. And I think that as bloggers and influencers, we've got a very huge responsibility towards all other mothers and other women to not portray this perfection. And I find it quite entertaining that I've had a lot of people contact me on my Facebook page and on my, my email and my website, etc. And they're like, how do you get this balance? And I'm like,
what balance?
Are you asking? I mean, I know what balance is. I know the theory. I'm always striving for it. Every now and then I'm like, whoa, I got it. And it's like a split second. It's like, boom, crash and burn. So it's like this constant striving for balance. And every now and then I feel kind of balanced. But most of my life, it's scrambling, trying to get all this shit together for my kids, trying to, keep my shit together. It's not, I have to say it now because you said it. So to make you feel comfortable.
I'm a bad influence.
So, I think that, I do write a lot of tips on parenting. I've written on how to be a more patient mother. It doesn't mean I'm this ultimate patient Zen sort of person. It means that I know the theory and I'm trying my damnedest to get there.
You know what it is? Balance is the biggest fallacy that mothers are told they need to achieve. I'm like, actually, that doesn't exist. You cope amongst the chaos, and being a mother is chaotic because you give up a lot of yourself, right? When you have children, it's an automatic thing. You don't do that when you get married or you're with a partner. But when you have children, you just give and give and give. And your cup is empty unless you learn to be selfish and just invest in yourself, right? So balance, I'm a Libran. So I've always been like, oh, I'm about balance and I can get it right. Because the question I'm asked quite often is, how do you do it all? I'm like, okay, I'm a good multitasker, but something's got to give. So I can do it all, but it means I'm tired or I'll eat badly because I need comfort food or I'll skip a workout. But something's giving at some point when I'm ticking all the other boxes. Like today, I've got a full-time job, but today I had to take Ashton for an appointment. That's why I'm coming to you from my car. And he's got mental health issues. So just raising this child takes a lot out of me because now I've got to go, okay, I had to get up early this morning to work to meet the needs of my child. Didn't have breakfast. So there I just compromised myself immediately. Breakfast is such a small thing, right? Not really, because it does come back to your self-care. Are you eating well? Because you can't be unhealthy or sick and expect to give your family 100% of you. So I think being selfish is such an important thing. And people cringe when if you say to someone, oh, you're being selfish, mums are like, oh, I don't want to be that mom that's selfish. I'm like, why? Your
Well,
kids are
it's not.
selfish, your partners are selfish, the world is selfish.
It's
Why
self-love.
not?
It's looking after yourself. And the thing is, nobody else is going to do it. If you don't look after yourself, you're doomed. You're going to crash and burn
Exactly.
because, I mean, my husband's not going to come home and massage my feet and make dinner and clean the kitchen and put the children to bed and then ask me like, are you okay? Do you need a bubble bath? Can I run it? I mean, like, are you kidding me? Hell no.
No, but you
I
see,
mean,
now this is where you're going wrong, Lynn. You got to demand it because you've just said you've given him all the excuses, right? You've made the excuses. But I insist. So in our house, it's pretty much 50-50, like it or lump it. You want to be part of this family, you're going to carry your 50%. And guess what? Today's mom's day out, and I do that on a Saturday, and I
oh,
take the day, and I'm like, bye, guys. And I leave like 7, 8 o'clock. Nothing's open. And I go and I take myself on a date, guys.
I
Date
love it.
yourself. Fall in love with yourself. And I buy the trashiest magazine I can find and I have
I
lunch
love
and I
it.
have daughters and I have like a main and I have bubbly and I really spoil myself because what do mums do when you go to shop? You go to buy underwear, like the most practical thing you need. And what do you come back with? Shit for your kids. And you're going, they don't really need that, but my panties are falling apart, you guys. you, you know? Um, so I spoil myself and I don't feel guilty about it. So
I
that
think
needs to be in your budget.
you've nailed it here. And I think, it's interesting because we're talking about how to love your mum bod. So I think a lot of people maybe were expecting that we're going to talk about our bum and our fat thighs and our wobbly tummy with stretch marks. But that's not what this is about. We women, and who said that? Kate Winslet. I'm a woman. I've got a bum and I've got boobs. you
It's
know.
not going anywhere.
So, yeah, exactly. And this is about loving your mom bod is about loving yourself and it's about taking care of yourself and it's about putting yourself first. And it's interesting you talking about this date thing is that I used to love going out on weekends on my own and doing stuff. I used to love going out with my friends and having coffee and just chatting for hours. I don't do that anymore. But recently I did a health challenge, which was supposed to be focused, my main goal was weight loss, but the lady I did it with, Helen, she's focused on what do you need? How are you not balanced? What is it that you need to do to create more balance? And we did like a whole wheel and it's like me time and, all sorts of stuff. So the focus wasn't so much, interestingly enough, on food and exercise, which I thought it would be. The huge focus was on what do you need to be happy and feel fulfilled so that you can live a healthier life. And your mental health and your physical health are so intertwined. It's not
They
here's your
are.
physical health, here's your mental health. It's,
And you
you
know
have
what?
to take care of both.
So I do a masterclass on how to conquer your confidence. Obviously COVID happened and my classes are on hold. But from my childhood, what I learned is that there are these negative chains of what people say to you that you carry along with you in your life. Um, that actually, like, they say you're born like a blank page and everything that happens to you is a little dot on that page. So everyone you meet as a child and what they say impacts how you see yourself and how you do things and what you think of the world, right? So if you're surrounded by positive, strong, confident women, you're going to be a bit of a badass mom. I mean, a badass person as you get older. Um, but if you are a mom that's come from that, you got to learn to break the chains. So you can't keep going, okay, people said that to me and beat yourself up about it. You've got to go, okay, I'm a victor, not a victim anymore, and move on. Deal with it. Go for therapy. I love therapy. I
Oh,
sound like a
thank you.
weirdo. I love
Thank
it.
you.
I love it. Just to bounce off what you're feeling. And if you really do the hard work and dig deep, you'll realize how much of your childhood has impacted your life as an adult.
Hold on a second. Elise, I'm all good. My friend just popped on now to try and get the video.
Oh,
So I'm like,
yeah,
technical
guys,
issues.
technical issues on a Friday, hey? But this has been a
Yeah,
Friday, like,
yeah. What you
yeah, so
say
I
about
think it's important.
therapy is essential. And as someone that has had vast experience of mental health issues, I'm an expert. I've no, I've had a lot of interesting experiences in my life. So I've got bipolar disorder and I've got my addiction. So, and I love what you say that, everything that we do as parents and the way that we talk to our children and the way that we talk to ourselves and the way that we treat ourselves is going to impact how they grow up. And because of all my therapy and all my time in rehab, I'm very conscious of this. I'm very conscious of not passing on my very unhealthy coping. I mean, now let me rephrase it. I feel that I've learned healthy coping techniques and I'm implementing them in my life. But there's also this other side of me, this dark side, where my natural inclination is not to do things in a healthy way. I mean,
Yes,
shoving
you,
70
you,
grams of
you,
cocaine
you're
up
an
your nose in
extremist,
a day
right?
is not healthy. And the relationships I chose and the way that I conducted myself, they call it stinking thinking and addiction. So I'm very conscious of myself and, like you do gratitude journal every day. I do gratitude journal. I do a step 10, which is basically, it's part of the 12-step program where I look back on my day and I think, what have I done? Where was I kind of, acting out? Where was my thinking stinking? Who have I harmed in any way? Do I have to make amends to anybody, including myself? Because that's the person I damage the most. And,
Yes.
I find, I'm very conscious. And a large part of this is, when I look at myself during the day, I think, what could I have done better as a parent?
I think that as well puts a lot of pressure on us because we're trying so hard not to repeat our mistakes and pass them on to our kids. So
Mm.
I think in a lot of ways, I'm like you, that I'm all in or all out. I'm an extremist. I'm emotional in the sense that my emotions as I've gotten older, hopefully I'm wiser. I don't react as fast as I used to. In my 20s, you just get a reaction and no thought behind it. And now I'll walk away, take my time to process, and in my time, decide how I want to deal with things. But that being said, we are so afraid to say no. So that's like the one thing. We don't want to say no, right? We're scared to disappoint. But you can say no and not have to, I don't know, explain yourself, not have to justify why you're saying no. It's just like, guys, no, I can't do it. Um, but we're also afraid to cut those negative people out of our lives. Guys, those people impact your life incredibly. So while I'm saying don't burn all your bridges, if something is not salvageable, you need to decide if it's adding value to your life
This
or
is
it
something that
takes
came up
away.
in my discussion with Sharissa Bloomberg recently on mental resilience. And what I mentioned to her is that, like, I used to have a lot of what I call soul suckers in my life, highly toxic people. Now, if you're going to have highly toxic people in your life causing drama and sucking you down, your negativity is going to be insane. And it's going to get reflected inwards, and you're going to become a very miserable, sad, sorry person that doesn't like yourself very much. And I've found that since I've started like removing toxic people from my life. And as I've grown as a person and I'm more positive and I'm happier and I've got more self-love, the negative people aren't really attracted to me, also they stay away because they know that they're not going to get anything from me. But also positivity breeds positivity. So if you're going to hang around with people that are positive, that build you up, you are going to feel built up and you are going to love yourself more and you're going to accept yourself more. And then you in turn are going to build your friends up. So it's a nice sort of strong community of strong women. And I think that's really important.
You know, I went to lunch with someone yesterday and we were chatting, and you know, we were saying how everyone says women supporting women. And I'm like, I'm gonna call bullshit, right? Because we don't support all women. We don't support each other, everyone. We support women we have something in common with. So I want to find a woman that says, I support all women. And I'm going to go, okay, prove it to me. Do you actually walk the talk? Or you just saying it because it's a cool thing to say on social media and it's a good thing to write on your blog because it's a great hashtag and hopefully you'll get more likes. You know, not all women are clicky. You know, they are clicky. I won't support a woman who's dishonest, who
Yes.
doesn't live by a word, who isn't loyal. I'm very full of nonsense in that respect about standing my ground, because I mean, for me to stand my ground and my value system to live by it impacts me and how I see myself. So I'm not prepared to compromise on it, whether it's a campaign or just for the sake of it to say, oh, I support women. No, I do support women, but not all women. And I'm going to be honest about that. So you got to look at your circle and go, is everyone in your circle there for the right reason?
Yes.
Like, you could have someone in your life that goes, oh, are you sure you're okay? Like, is everything okay? And like, it's almost like they're sitting there waiting for you to have a problem in your life. And you go, oh, okay, red light. That is something I need to be concerned about, because those people impact your confidence.
Yeah, I think we now get on to.
Did I skip ahead?
No, I think we were just naturally moving towards the next topic, which is what challenges have you faced with body image?
This is really funny. Okay, as a young girl, I was mocked a lot and called fat and told that I have legs for tree trunks, that I never wore shorts. Like, I didn't wear anything above my knee, leave alone like shorty shorts. But I also didn't realize I was thin because what everyone was saying to me. And it's only as I got older that I just decided, well, I always say it when I do my talks, is that when you walk into a room, there's three types of people: those that'll love you, those that'll hate you, and those that don't even know you exist. So you always going to get that. So why are you trying to please other people? But yeah, I think that stuck with me for a long time. And just a simple thing like, oh, I want to go to the beach and wear a pair of shorts, I didn't do. It wasn't even in a costume. Now in the last week, you've just seen my butt all over Instagram because I've been running around the Eastern Cape in a costume all day.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of your butt.
You guys like my butt? I don't know. My followers are freaks like that. But
it's a pretty nice butt. I don't have a butt at all. I have a flat ass that I have always felt so conscious about my whole life, that I don't have a butt. Someone once said to me, what, you're going to fall through it?
It's that kind of messaging. You got the thick, you go, I don't have a butt. You go like, everyone has a butt. Like, it's there. Like, it's just different. I don't have big boobs, and sometimes I wish I had like really big boobs. I'm like, oh, that'll even out my body, eh?
I'll give you give me a bit of butt.
Sounds like a plan. But I think, like, as women, we are our own worst critics.
Yeah, totally.
So, like, so if I'll go, oh, I want long hair like you, and you'll go, oh, but I love your short hair, and you're going, both of you have no issues with your hair, you just want what you don't have. And then you'll go, oh, I wish I had more curves, and I go, actually, I wish I had no bum, because it makes it easier when you buy jeans. and you don't have that gap above your waist because your butt's so big. You know, we just exceptionally hard on ourselves, and we constantly wanting to be something we're not. And I think once we make peace with that, we'll be okay. Um, I think a mom bod is such a cool thing. It really is. It's like a rite of passage.
But what
It
I find
speaks volumes.
interesting is that I was always very skinny my whole life. And then okay, I put on a lot of weight when I was pregnant with my daughter. I put on 40 kilos, 40. And then I lost it over a year and I fell pregnant again with my son. And I put on 14 kilos. And then he was such a guzzler, a boob maniac, that I lost all of my pregnancy weight plus 5 kilos within 3 weeks. So I was 55 kilos. And
Oh
I
wow.
weaned him. And then I was about my normal weight of 60 kilos. And then I quit smoking. Now I have a new life.
Amazing.
I put on 20 kilos when I quit smoking, and I really struggled to budge that. But what I found very interesting and is that, so first of all, up until the time that I actually got large, I always thought I was large and I always was self-conscious about my body. And now I'm like, yeah, see, if I had that body back, I'd be like,
Yeah.
this is amazing. Like, wow. I'm like so hot.
I always
But
say that God knew what he was doing when he gave me like this body, because otherwise I'd probably be walking around naked most of the time. Like, no, there was a
no,
plan.
back up. You just said you are walking around naked all the time.
Well, walking around in a costume. Well, at home, yes, but I mean, I'd take it a bit further, you know. But I must tell you, I'm gonna take you back quickly to walk around the beach with two teenage sons, and they're very impressionable. So I normally go, "Am I okay? Are you happy with the way I'm dressed?" Um, I do ask them because it is important that they're okay with it. I don't want to embarrass them or whatever. And they're normally like, fine. It's normally Clifford that goes, can you cover up? I don't want other people looking at you. And I'm like, well, not my problem. My kids are happy. I'm happy. But yeah, so for me, that's such a big thing to have your kids who are comfortable to be seen with me. You know, I'm quite extreme on social media. And the fact that my kids are okay with it, that's a win for me. That's an absolute win.
Yeah, that's a big one. And I think, you're talking about your experience on the beach with your kids. And what I've always had is, Mummy, put your costume on and come in the water with us. I'm like, oh no, I don't want to put my costume on. I'm like, I don't really want to be on the beach. And I mean, our beach is quiet. There's nobody here. But I've often felt so like self-conscious. I don't want to put a costume on and go swim with my kids. And they don't care what I look like. They just want me to play. So,
And the thing is, you're missing out on moments, right? You're missing
that's
out on moments you'll
exactly
never
it.
get back.
Yeah, but now this magic footies has changed things, and I bought myself this lacquer little tankini that I look quite cute in. I mean, I've got a couple of bulges, but I'm okay with it.
I want to
And
see it on your Instagram feed.
yeah, and I've started going swimming with my kids. And the other day we decided to go for a walk, and I was wet after swimming. I mean, we walked all the way from one end of the beach to the other. It was about 3 kilometers from our house to the end and back, and I felt fine. And it's for me, it's such a positive feeling to do that.
It is. It's really like it gives you an amazing sense of happiness and freedom just to be who you are, just to be in that moment and not have to worry about anyone. And I want to actually do this blog post, and I'm just don't have time. But being on holiday is probably the best time to live your best life, put the costume on, and try it out, because no one really cares what you look like. No one's looking at you. You're the only one that's being really self-conscious. And I think when people are on holiday, they live a bit more, free and vicariously. So just go on holiday. No one cares, actually. You'd rather be in the water with your kids than sitting on the sand feeling sad about the fact that you're not doing something fun with them.
Yeah, totally.
And your kids will remember that.
Exactly. And that's the big thing. I mean, that's what this is all about. It's not about whether someone down the beach thinks I'm fat. I mean, who really cares what
Yeah.
they think? I mean, ultimately, when it comes down to it, it's about me, my family, my husband. Are we happy? Are we having fun?
That's true. And I think we just need to stop robbing ourselves. Life is very short. I've learned that at a very early stage in my life that life is so short. You don't get back the time you lose. So you've got
Yeah.
to like live each day to its fullest, make the most of it. And you know what? We're going to make mistakes. We're going to do the wrong
Always.
thing, but we learn from it. So it either builds you or it breaks you. You get to determine that, no one else. You
Yeah,
know, I keep telling my kids, I'm like, make your mistakes. And they're like, what mother says that? I'm like, well, that's how you learn. That's how
it's
you
the best
grow.
way
And
to
that's
learn.
how, and I think the
Yeah,
pressure on moms to be perfect and not make mistakes and get it all right and look hot while they're doing everything, it's unnecessary pressure on moms.
for sure. I'm just wondering now. So, like I explained, for my most of my life, I've been rather slim and slender, and then I've been, I mean, not hugely obese, but I've been rather tubby lately for the last couple of years since I quit smoking, for the last 5, 6 years. And it's interesting because I mean, I've never really thought much about overweight people, or I've just never put much thought into it. But since I've put on weight, I've entered a whole new world of ugliness. Where I mean, like a good example is I went down to our corner cafe, and I went to go buy something a while back, years ago, and the lady just looks at me. The lady behind the till that works there, she looks at me. She goes, "Yes, sis, you're getting fat, eh?" And I was like, I didn't even say anything to her because I didn't know what to respond. I
You were
was in
so taken aback.
so painful and so rude, and I was in so much shock that I didn't actually like respond to this. Now, how have you dealt with this sort of thing? I mean, surely you faced it as well. How do you deal with that? Do you just open your mouth and rip their head off?
You know what? In all honesty, no one's ever said it to me except for family when I was
Okay.
younger. Um, Nobody says it to me, even on social media. I can put my fattest photo out there, and I have, touch wood, haven't had one, not one, but a bullying or
Fantastic.
negativity. People, but I think it's how what you allow. So people will treat you
Yes.
the way you allow. So, like, if that had happened to me in the shop, I would have called you the lady to order. I would tune her, like I would bring you to order right there. And then I think people know that with me, that I'm very straightforward. You're gonna know where you stand with me, and I won't compromise myself for anyone. I'm just like,
Yeah.
not gonna happen. You crossed it. How dare you? I had a guy send me a very inappropriate message 2 weeks ago, like highly inappropriate. I can't even repeat it. And I was so taken aback, and the kids were upset. And, because I show my kids everything, I don't keep secrets from them. And I called him and I said, how dare you? What gives you the right to think you have that access to me? No, it was a joke. I'm like, no, actually, you know what? Toe the line, but I'm not someone you get to speak to any way you feel. And I think as women, we need to find our voice and not be afraid to speak up, because say for instance, there's someone close to you. What are you really losing by speaking up? The person's going to be upset, and if they respect you, they'll still be your friend or in your life. If they don't, they'll pull back and not be there. But then they didn't deserve the space in your life anyway.
Well, when someone crosses a boundary like that, it's your choice on how you're going to deal with it. Are you just going to let
Yeah,
them cross the boundary and walk all over you, or are you going to stand up and say, "Hey, that's not okay"? And I think that's a very
exactly.
important part of building up your confidence and your self-love as well. It's a self-love action to do that and stand up for yourself and say, "This is not okay."
Look, I must say it's the negative side on that is it's a lonely life, in that people don't like someone who's straightforward. They don't like someone who isn't a doormat. People don't like it one bit. So the moment you speak up for yourself, expect to lose people. So I'm happy to live a lonely life as opposed to having fake, insincere, negative people in my life. So I'm like, I'd rather have a smaller circle than have a gazillion friends and people in my life who actually just rob me of my happiness and my confidence on a daily basis.
I'm glad you said that because I was about to challenge you and say it's not a lonely life. It's a smaller circle. but it's
Yeah.
people that are closer to you, people that respect you, people that support you, and people that build you up, as opposed to having a bigger circle of people that kind of trample all over you, which is,
Yes.
I mean, for me, that
Look,
would be
I'm a
really,
challenge on a good day. I'm a challenge because I say what I say and I mean what I say, and I'm very unfiltered. And I don't think many people are that way. So it does make people feel uncomfortable. Um, but if you're confident in who you are and your value system, then you can live with it.
I'm comfortable with that. I'm absolutely fine with that. And I think from my experience of my journey of mental health and self-love, I've found the more real I am with myself and outwardly with everybody else. I mean, you can't be 100% real with yourself if you're portraying something you're not. If you're holding up a mask in front of your face, then you're not really being 100% true with yourself. So I felt with my journey that being able to be honest and open and just say things like it is, I felt that that has built me up and made me a happier person and kind of like myself more, feel more at one with myself.
No, I think, you know, that there's so much of truth in what you're saying, and the fact that if people are lying to themselves, whether it's, you know, privately or even, you know, on social media, when they put out these posts and you know, they want you to believe that everything is so rosy and perfect in their life, um, they're not robbing anyone else but themselves, because they
Yeah.
need to maintain the lie. And I always go, oh my gosh, like I can't remember all the lies. Like, so it's just easy to tell the truth, right? Because the moment you lie, and I think this is important for bloggers, influencers, and people on social media, when you put that lie out there, remember, I might pass you in real life, and that's your credibility. Because I'm going to go, actually, she's lying. What she put out yesterday isn't the truth. And credibility should be high on your list of priorities, that you are a person of your word, that you are honest and have integrity. You know, so for me, I laugh. I'm like, there's people that hire B&Bs just to go and act like it's their houses and take some photos. I'm like, the money spent, the effort, really?
Oh, no.
Um,
No. You know what? You're talking about lying and you're talking about dishonesty and authenticity and integrity. And as not just a blogger, but as a recovering alcoholic and addict, that is so important to me because in active addiction, you lie to try to get money for your drugs. Then you lie to cover up how you got that money. And then you lie and you're trying to scheme how you're going to get the drugs, how you're going to use the drugs, how you're going to cover up the fact that you've used drugs. And then you lie to this person to get out of something that you've done. And then you lie to another person, but the one lie involves the other person. And then everything just becomes like, you don't even know what the truth is anymore when you're done. And, you know, during active addiction, you are so fake and you're hiding everything from everybody, including yourself. And now being in recovery and being a blogger, it's so important to me to constantly always live my truth, because the second I don't do that, I mean, it's going to literally be life or death for me. I'm going to
yeah.
relapse and die.
Yeah, no, I think it's huge. And I mean, like, it's sad that you have to go through such a tough time to get that. But I wish more people would get it. That it's okay to be you. You know, I was at an event one day and someone said to me, "Oh my gosh, you know, you live in such a small house." And that couch, because I was like, okay. So I just laughed and I was like, you know, I'm quite comfortable living where I live. It shouldn't bother anyone else. I'm not ashamed of it. But I just thought, where do you find the place to comment on someone else, on what they do? So, you know, the judgment's going to be there. You just need to filter out the noise. You really
100.
need to filter out the noise. Or, yeah, you know, you will relapse. You will go backwards in life. I must say, I never tried drugs because I'm an all or nothing person. And I knew if I tried it, uh, there would be no turning back. Um, because, you know, you got to know yourself as well. And for me, it was like,
Yeah.
no. But yeah, when it comes to alcohol, I've had my days. You know, I think when I was my late teens, early 20s, I was as good as an alcoholic. I drank excessively, and it is to numb the feeling and to get through whatever you're getting
Mm.
through. And it is a miracle that, like now, I can go without drink for weeks. But it's tough when you're there because no one understands. No
Yeah,
one
it's a
truly
pretty lonely
gets what
place.
you're going through. So it is a lonely, dark place to be in. So
Mm.
yeah, so like big up to you for like putting your life together and for doing what you do and for so openly sharing it because I think it there's a lot of people that suffer in silence and maybe
Yeah.
hearing your story um will change their lives.
Well, the way that I look at that actually is that have been in a very dark place for a very long time. Um, but what do I do with that now? If I can go and share that openly, I could help somebody. And then you take something that's really, really horrible and dark and blah, and you turn
And
it into
find the
something
positive.
positive and good, and you send it out into the world. I mean, like, what if I say something one day that changes someone's life and saves their life because they could have died from their addiction? I should be dead. If I look
You
back
know,
at where I was
mm.
now, realistically, the amount of drugs I was taking, the risks I was taking, the fact that I'm sitting here today, not just clean, but breathing, just breathing is an absolute miracle.
And I think like with you helping people, it's almost like it sort of gives the fact that okay, it wasn't in vain. Like I didn't go through all of that for nothing. It serves a purpose now, as tough as it was.
Mm.
It does some good now that you get to share that experience. I feel like I'm interviewing you now.
Yeah, I was just thinking, what's going on? Hang on. Okay, so now we're going to move on. I need your information. Boom. Okay, so a big part of kind of mental health and of, physical health is fitness and getting moving. So what tips have you got for like motivation and for just getting out there and doing it? Because I think that's something that a lot of people struggle with is just getting out there, moving your body and exercising.
I think the first thing is to realize there are no quick fixes, guys. There's no quick fixes. And the weight loss and fitness industry will take your money unashamedly. So stop buying the tablets and the pills and the detox teas. All of that doesn't work. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you've got to change your lifestyle and you got to want to live a healthier life. So not all of us want to be fitness models and perfect and skinny. We just want to be healthy. So I think if you can be honest with yourself and set reasonable goals and go, you know what, I want to go and do my annual checkup and not have any chronic illnesses, that's a win. That's healthy. So you don't have to be a size 6 to do that. And to move more than you eat, that's my thing. I'm a foodie. I love eating. So
Oh, I
I
love
basically
you.
just mm, and I like all the chocolates and the ice
Yes.
cream and the cakes and stuff. So I'm doing a challenge at the moment, but I'm being a bit defiant because I refuse to stick to the full spec because I'm going to do this my way. So I'm not going to deprive myself, but I know if I have the cake, that today I got to hop on the treadmill and move a bit or dance with the kids or go for a hike. And I think it's so important to find a type of exercise you like. So whether it's a YouTube clip or you need a personal trainer for accountability, or you know what, doing a hike with your family is your way, find what you like because you got to really enjoy it. It shouldn't feel like a labor of love, like you're torturing yourself. And then it gets easy. So as a family on a Sunday, we have made it a rule, one hike a week. Uh, we do that and we try and walk every day. So I've said to the kids, you've got to give me an hour of exercise because I think it starts as a child, is developing those good habits. So set reasonable goals, eat more green veg, drink your water, and get sleep because I think sleep is the one thing we underestimate. And it's as good as gold for moms, right? We live
Mm.
on coffee and and our children's love, but we need sleep because if you are sleeping, your weight does come down because you are less stressed. Your body's getting to recover while you sleep. It all fits together at the end of the day. Yo, that's cheesy, but yes, it does all fit together.
I mean, it's a total mix of all sorts of stuff that, equals good health and fitness. And I totally agree with you. Sleep is a biggie. And last week we did a live video with Meg 4 on getting your baby to sleep through the night, because I didn't sleep for 4 years. And the negative
Really?
impact that had on, no, well, when I felt pregnant, it was shall we call it a surprise. And I had to go off all my psychiatric medications. So I didn't sleep for the 9 months I was pregnant, like nothing.
I must have turned you into a monster.
No, I was a monster. My husband says I was. I said, I don't remember anything. But yeah, he says I was like truly a monster. And then I had a 42-hour labor followed by an emergency section, because I tried to have a home birth, but I only got to 4 centimeters. And it was a posterior baby, and I had no painkillers. And it was like, so I had 42 hours with no sleep and a load of pain, followed by a C-section. And then my baby slept, thankfully, for 2 weeks, 1 to 2 weeks. And then she never really slept again until she was 3. She woke, she slept like not longer than 2 hours, day or night, until after 3 years old. So it was constantly waking up, night terrors, screaming through the night. So it was basically 4 years that I had like no sleep. And I mean, that kills you. It absolutely kills you. There's no like good mental health. There's no physical health. It's just bad.
And you know what moms always say? So, moms, I'm picking on you here, but we are so guilty when we say, I don't have the time, I'm busy. Guys, we have the time. We just need to prioritize. How many movies do you sit and watch in a day on Netflix, for instance? Cut it out, or watch it while you on the treadmill, or you know what I mean? Catch up with your social media while you go for a walk, if it really is such a thing in your life. But you need to prioritize what's really important to you, and your health is important if you want to see your kids grow old and do amazing things. And that was when the penny dropped for me, is when I went to my doctor in December 2016, and he said my blood pressure was high. I couldn't see. My feet were swollen. He said to me, as I left, he said, well, I just want to tell you one last thing, that if you don't get your act together, your children will grow up without a mother. And the penny dropped, that I thought I was being this amazing mom because I put everything into my kids, but I wasn't looking after myself. So I actually wasn't being a good mom at that point, because I was going about it all the wrong way, even though my intentions were really good.
Yeah, I enjoy what you say there, because I have this year. It's quite amazing, because like when I first got clean, I thought like, yeah, I'm an adult. I've done all my growing and I'm like this new person. But actually, I'm growing so much each year and every couple of months. Like I can see the change in me, which is for the better. And, one of the things that I've been focusing on this year is my physical health and losing weight and getting fitter and all of that. But I thought it would be what I eat and how much I exercise. But it's actually been about putting myself first and my needs first. And most of it isn't about exercise and food. Most of it is exactly what you say. I'm tired. So guys, go watch a movie. I'm going to bed at 3:00 in the afternoon. I'm going to have a nap. And the kids are like,
Yes.
I'm sorry, what? Like, this is not the mother we know. But I'm actually,
our kids need that. Our kids need to also be independent. Like they don't need us around 24/7. They'll be okay. I mean, they're in a home, they're safe. We make it more than it actually is. We want to feel important.
And I've been going out every weekend with a friend. We go for coffee. I choose like a new friend and we go out for coffee and just sit and, it's amazing how like now that I'm doing it and saying I'm allowed this, I deserve this. I deserve to go out with a friend, sit and have a cup of coffee without kids. I deserve to have a one-on-one conversation with an adult without being interrupted every 30 seconds. I deserve to go sit in a restaurant that I would like to sit in, not that I can take my children to. And it's amazing how I can see now all the guilt that I used to feel if I was doing anything for myself. I'd be like, well, I should be doing this. I should be doing that. And now that I'm giving myself this time, I'm really enjoying it. And I'm going to the library, I'm taking out books and I'm reading. I can't remember when last I read a book or did something really nice for myself. But now it's almost like I feel like I haven't had it for so long. Like my body and my mind is saying, like, I want more. I want more. Like I think I'm just going to become this lazy sod that lies on the bed and reads all day.
No, that's all good. Do it. But I laughed at what you said now when you said going to a restaurant I like that I can't take my kids to. And I think
Yes.
that is wow. Why can't we take our kids to a fancy restaurant? Because they're gonna have a tantrum. So I made sure I took my kids to the fanciest from the time they were little because I was like, I'm not prepared to compromise and give up my life because I have kids. I was here before them. They need to fit into what I like and what I do. And too bad, so sad. They're gonna have to learn to behave in a fancy restaurant. You know, you can't train them when they're 16. At that point, they know everything. So kind of like a useless. So you got to train them from the time they're little, and then they know what's expected. People often
Yeah.
come up and go when they were younger, would go, "Oh my gosh, your kids are so well behaved." I'm like, no, they're actually shits on a good day, but they know what's expected because they've had practice.
Yes.
And I think also we're so afraid to take our kids out and do things that we stop ourselves from living because of other people's judgment.
Well, then
So
I did
take
that
them
all
out.
wrong.
Yeah. So I think, but I also find there's like a gazillion books for moms, right? On how
Yes.
to be a mom. I'm like, why are we wasting money? Because there is no map to this. There is no manual. Um, there is no perfect mom. There's no right way to do it. So, it comes to fitness as well. If you're working out with your kids, um, that's great because you're achieving two things, creating good life skills for them and good habits for them. And then you actually like seeing to yourself at the same time.
Yeah. Well, one thing I did recently is I said to my kids, we can go to Cape Town for a little day trip, but we've got to do active things every day. We went with Fun Mama, Judy from Fun Mama, and I said we
Yes,
have
yes.
to do. I said we can do anything like as long as we don't have to be like cardio all the way, but we got to be on the move. We can't sit and watch a movie. We've got to do something active with the children. So we went ice skating and we went walking around. Oh, I forgot the name of that place. It's near Grand West or Canal Walk. There's that like park through. It was beautiful. My brain's just done
Ratanga
like.
Junction.
No, there's like this place with these water places.
Ah, you're talking about Canal Walk, the where you walk through at the back with the train and you walk around the canal. I live there. You see, I know.
Okay, yeah, and there were all the birds and the little walkway. It was so nice. I can't remember the name, but I said we've just got to keep moving and keep active, and it was really cool. And I didn't realize how much energy ice skating takes. I hadn't done it since I was a kid, but it really worked me out. My legs were like jello. So, but yeah, I think,
Yeah,
doing things
no.
active, doing things that's fun with our kids is a great way to do it because I think that's an excuse we often make, or an excuse I've often made is that I can't because the kids and I need to exercise. I mean, just go out with them and go do something where you're moving.
And you're lucky on that end, in the Cape, the sun sets at 8. You can still head down to the beach after work and go for a walk. And I
Yes.
mean, that was something we did almost every day, even in winter, was go down to the beach, go for a walk, just take a walk on the beach, even in that horrible wind. We did that. And I think Cape Town presents that kind of environment. And the misconception that Johannesburg hasn't got things to do is so wrong. We have some of
Yeah.
the most amazing hikes and trails and things for families to do. And I think in Joburg, they're really coming on board with pet-friendly places because, we have to take our baby along with us. So there's a lot of hikes that allow your dogs to go with. So it's really a great way to go out with the family. You're not spending money unless you're like me that wants to eat out and grab a coffee. But it can be a very
Yeah.
affordable way of spending time as a family and not breaking the bank.
Totally. We've got the West Coast National Park right here. So we do that quite often. We go hiking and walking around there. So that's perfect. And we live on the beach. So we can just walk
You're
every
making me
day.
want to come for a visit.
Oh, you can come for a visit.
Yeah.
Awesome. So should we now, I'm just going to go look here and we're going to get some comments going. We've got Shanae that feels very guilty when she tries to take the selfish route and leaving herself for last. Yeah, and I think from my side, something that I need to just push here is that I think as moms, we must start using different ways to talk to ourselves. We need positive self-talk. It's not selfish, it's self-care, it's self-love. And I think that's a really important shift that I've had to make my side.
Yeah, there's power in words, and they say speak kindly to yourself, but remember your kids are also listening. So the things you say to yourself is what your kids repeat, and use that as a motivation to get you to start being kinder to yourself. But never feel guilty about investing in yourself because your kids will reap the rewards. They definitely will.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think this last couple of months this year, since I've been on the self-care health like journey of nurturing myself, I feel that I've been more patient. I feel that I've been more fun and more calm and just generally a nicer person and a better mom.
Yeah. No, you definitely will find a good space to be in.
Totally. And then we've got Jade that feels guilty going anywhere without her kids. I had
Jade,
that.
don't.
Just go,
Yeah.
just do it. Do it a couple of times and you'll get into the vibe of it and you'll start loving it.
But not only that, Jade, you know what? When you do it and you come home, you'll realize how much your partner and your children appreciate you because our families do take us for granted. So they also need a break from us, despite what we might think. And when you come home, they're like, oh my gosh, like, why were you gone so long? And it's nice to feel appreciated as well. So give it a try. Let us know.
Yeah, you say that now. My kids ask me, what are we doing this weekend? And I said, well, there's Lagoon Festival on tomorrow, so we're going to go to that. I said, on Sunday, I'm going out with a friend on my own. And the kids were like, yay! And I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah, we need some time off from you.
But they do. They need to also become individuals, and have their moment. And I think our kids are better behaved when we're not around, in all honesty, because they just gear that way. So it does put them back
Also,
in a good space.
I'm the disciplinarian. And, so I do most of the parenting. My husband works very long hours. So he's gone by 6 in the morning. He's back at 7 at night. I mean, they basically go to bed. But he's the more fun parent. So he breaks the rules and he lets them have Coke when I say, no, you can't, you must drink water, or you must do this, you must do that. And, they come, they say, can we have like chocolate for breakfast? I'm like, hell no, you can have your oats. But he'll let them have chocolate for breakfast and he'll have fun with them and break all the rules. And, maybe they just need a little bit of time of that while I'm out.
They do. And I think, like if you give it a try and you see that reaction, it'll make you taking time for yourself a little bit easier.
Yeah. So we've got Simon. Mom shouldn't feel bad or down about themselves. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
We should definitely think like that. We've got Robin that wants to ask a very personal question. How do you make time for your husband after you worked all day, sorted the kids, fed them, done household chores, homework, and by the time the kid's on bed, you're exhausted, neglecting your marriage? I can speak about this personally. I used to do everything, and my husband used to let me do everything. And then, by the time I've done all of it, I'm like done, I'm finished. And we used to have some fights because then he wants his time to talk and have a bit of and I'm like, dude, I have nothing left. I have nothing. And Natasha, you've spoken about how it's completely 50-50. Our marriage started off very much not 50-50. And I lost my shit a few times, and it turned out to be a very good thing. I've now said to him, if you want time with me, and if you want my attention, and you want me to give you some of my energy, dude, you've got to get back. You've got to put in. You've got to give me the time so that I have the energy. So don't come home and sit and watch TV. You need to come home. You don't get to just sit down. I don't sit down. So you don't get it either. And, if you're doing everything, then you're not going to have time for your husband. And that's just just the way it is. And I mean that in the
Yeah.
nicest possible way.
And Robin, I have some tips for you. So date date days or date nights once a week. We do a coffee chat on a Tuesday because some days I can't get to you and you'll do, and then we schedule sex. Yes, we do. Because guys are simple. They need sex and they need food, guys. And if you're not ticking the box, he's going to be grumpy. So just sometimes you have to take one for the team, even when you're tired. But it also means you prioritizing your relationship, that you actually making him a priority. A lot of times guys feel that you're neglecting them because you're putting everything into the kids. So then when you do these things and you allocate specific time, it actually is you prioritizing that person and they appreciate it. So yeah.
Those are fantastic tips, and I have to agree with everything that you've said there. Sex is vitally important, and I think sex is something where a lot of relationships go down the tubes because I mean, once what did I say to my husband the one time? I said, if you do the dishes, like that's almost like foreplay for me. No, seriously. I mean, I'm so tired and I've got to do the dishes and I've got to wipe the bum and I've got to do this. And if you do the dishes, it's going to be like more likely that we're going to have sex tonight because I have more energy and I'm feeling more like positive vibes towards you. It's good stuff.
Yes.
So yeah. And I think if you kind of explain it to them in that way, then they get it.
Oh, they'll definitely get it. It's a great motivator, guys. It's the most powerful motivator you will have to get them to help around the house.
Yeah. Now I'm just trying to check out some of these. Ooh, okay, we've got Shanae. We were talking about toxic people. What if those toxic people are very closely related family members, and how do you walk away from them? So that's tough, and I think it's about look, if it's your mother, you can't just. Well, I suppose you could, but it's not going to
Yes,
be
you
nice
can.
to cut your own mother off and walk away. But I think what Natasha said is that when you are open and you're honest and you voice your feelings, very often what happens is that people don't push you. I've had a few incidences of toxic relationships and some negativity and some stuff that I don't agree with. In fact, I'm going to be having to have a very difficult conversation today with a very close family member about an SMS that was sent to me that was very upsetting. But I think it's about, you don't necessarily even have to resolve everything. You don't even necessarily have to agree on everything, but you do have to voice your bit and you can just leave it there. Even if they don't
You are so
respond.
nice. You are so nice. I like you because you are so nice about it. I'm like hard and fast about this. For me, I'm like, you could be my mother, my father, my auntie, my uncle. I will cut that tie, close the door, and move on if you don't respect me. So, it's before you get to that point, it's really a case of working through it. But if you find that the situation doesn't improve after you've spoken, after you've expressed how you feel, it becomes a personal choice. And it could be tough because it could be your partner's family and it creates friction in your home, in your relationship. You both have to be on board. Um, and it's a tough decision because you need to know if you close the door, it may never be opened again. So there's a lot to consider, but I would say, like take Lynn's advice and work through it. Give someone the benefit of the doubt, but also remember you're not a doormat.
Well, actually, now that you speak about that, there was actually a family member that I cut off for a period of about 2 years because of boundaries that were being very badly crossed, and it was affecting my mental health in a very negative way. So I actually did cut that person off, but over a period of time, we were able to resolve it, and everything is mostly nice. In fact, it's this person that I have to respond to the SMS.
Again, you see what I mean? People generally repeat their behavior. And that's when it's disappointing because you've had the discussion, but yeah, I think everyone's different and it also depends how you're going to handle it.
It's actually something very different, this SMS. I can tell you what it is actually, and I'm not quite sure. Maybe you can help me decide how to deal with it later. It's actually yeah, it's a very upsetting SMS. It was a response forwarded to me by someone else about all the racism in our country. And it's a very racist, disgusting thing that was forwarded to me. And they said, oh, this is brilliant.
You know,
So
when it
the
comes
stuff
to
that I had with
something
this
like that,
person was boundaries crossed in my family, boundaries crossing my boundaries at home with my children, with my husband, with, so it was very different. But this SMS is something that is really inappropriate. So
you know what your
I'm going to
challenge
have
is,
to,
Lynn, is the
yes.
fact that it's very hard to change someone who thinks that way.
Oh, it
So
is.
they're not going to change their behavior. And I think it
But I
all
do
comes
have
back
to
to
voice
you.
my
Yes. Are
disgust
you going to
in a
allow
way.
that in your life and where the boundary is? Don't send that to me. I don't appreciate it because that's not how I think and how I behave. But that kind of person won't change.
They're
They
not
they
going to
have their
change, but I have
reasons.
to say something and I have to think carefully about how I'm going to approach it because, yeah, it is a close family member. It's very upsetting. So this is
Yeah.
something. Oh, anyway. Yeah. So I think toxic family members are really. It's a difficult thing to deal with. And Natasha has said therapy is amazing. And possibly one of the best things you can do is go get some therapy for yourself, talk about the problem, hash it out with a counselor. And they've got loads of experience with this sort of thing. And I'm sure that they
Yeah.
will help you find a way to move forward through it. I like this, Jamie Lee. We need to get rid of those energy vampires. Yeah, I call them soul suckers. Oh, I never realized
Good.
how much it took out of me until I started cutting it out. And it's insane. Like my life was always drama, drama, drama.
Yeah, press the eject button. They're not going to do it.
Yeah, totally. And then Natasha, this is for you. You give the rest of us confidence. Boom, I'll second that. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
And we've got Angelique, that's had close family members telling her to lose weight in her mom pouch. And it sets her
Their mom
back.
part is called a fupa. Just own your fupa.
Yeah, I've become a lot more comfortable with my body and my stretch marks and everything. And I feel it's very, I've never had that experience of family members telling me to lose weight or commenting on my body. I've had it from strangers. But it's
I think
very
it hurts
painful.
more when it comes from family. It hurts more. When a stranger goes, you need to lose weight, or you've got a mum pouch. You're like, okay, it hurts a little bit, but it's when it's someone close to you. I think it really gets to you. Um, but you know what, guys? There's things like Spanx and body shapers and jeans. There's all these things to help you. And if wearing it makes you feel a bit more confident, do it. There's this trend on TikTok where they use like a thick piece of cardboard and they put it in the front of their pants and it flattens your stomach so it doesn't show the pouch. I'm like, do what you got to do to help you walk into a room and feel confident. There's so many things out there that you can use. Um, and as you find your confidence, you won't care, but it is a journey. It's not an overnight thing.
Yeah, I love that. Devo, yeah, I think, and this is something that we were talking about earlier on, but I think we are so quick. It's interesting, like when I walk into a room, I look at everybody else around me, and I don't think, oh, I'm thinner than that one. I think, oh, she's beautiful and she's better than me. Why do we do that? This is something that I've been working on and it's getting better, but we compare ourselves so much to other people and we put ourselves down so much.
I think it's hard for us to compliment ourselves. So you got to wake up every morning and have conversations with yourself in the mirror. So when I went through my first divorce, yes, guys, two divorces. Let me just put that out there. Um, when I went through my first divorce, it really broke me. And I used to eventually stand in front of the mirror and tell myself, you're amazing, you are beautiful every day. You know what? If you hear something often enough, you'll believe it. It's true. Um, but only your opinion matters. And what do they say? Comparison is a thief of joy, right? And if you
Yeah,
see it on
totally.
social media, that's not a benchmark or a measure. Really isn't, guys. Half of the stuff out there is not something you would want in your life if you knew the truth.
Yeah, and positive affirmations, powerful stuff here. Powerful because it starts to, the more you say something to yourself, the more you truly believe it, the more it really, really sticks. And we constantly have this negative self talk. But if you're going to start with positive self talk, that's going to take over eventually.
Yes.
Yeah, we've got Robin that says her husband would just die if she wore a bikini or a costume. That is so sad.
Okay, but Robin, you need to say to him, like, if you're good enough to do the deed with, then what's the problem with the bikini? He's got to check himself as to why he feels that way. I think that's so important because he
Yeah,
might not be embarrassed by you or how you look. It might be that he's overprotective and doesn't want other people to look at you. So those are two very different things. So maybe you need to have a date, a coffee date tonight, and ask him to explain why he feels that way, and you might be surprised by his answer.
yeah, I think that's a very important point. Um, let's see. Oh, I love this, Anna Marie. Yes, 40s is a thing. I love 40. When I was young, I thought 40's old, 40's nearly dead. You over your prime. And I'm like, hell, I'm just going towards my prime. I'm heading
Yes.
there.
No, no, you know what? Your 40s unlock a whole lot of amazing things, and you're just going, why wasn't I 40 ages ago? Why did it take me so many decades to find my space and who I am? And it's quite a thing. You go like, how all of a sudden you get to 40, 4 decades to find yourself. Hopefully we can get our teenagers and 20 somethings to do that a lot earlier. We'll have stronger, more confident women.
I think so, definitely. We've got Shanae that says that her family members keep saying she's gained weight when she's the same. Yeah, I think that's true. A lot of people just see what they want to see and not what's really in front of them.
But I think also what you got to realize, the scale is quite a devious thing. Your weight can stay the same, but you're either putting on muscle or losing. Or, you're losing centimeters. Um, you dress differently. You went from wearing skinny jeans to baggy jeans and a tight vest to a super baggy top. You will look different. But as long as you know how awesome you are, I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah, for sure. We've got Peachy that says not many people voice themselves, and she's one of them. And at times the word eats on her and makes her really sad. And when you do voice yourself, you come across as rude. You know what?
Rude is not a bad thing.
It, I think it may come across as rude to some people, but speaking your
Yes.
truth and saying how you feel without being apologetic about it can make some people uncomfortable. But you've got every right to speak about how you're feeling. And you don't have to apologize for how you're feeling. You don't have to say, I'm sorry, I'm feeling hurt. You can
No, I'm
say,
hurt.
what you said
Like
now
you've
hurt my
upset
feelings
me.
because of this, 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 this. There's nothing wrong with that.
And I think, people are really confusing rude with being assertive. Um,
Yeah.
I'm often, labeled as being rude and direct and aggressive purely because I'm assertive and I speak my truth. So you can define it, but I think other people's choice of words, it is what it is. Take it with a pound of salt and take it who it comes from.
Yeah. Very much so. Um, okay, I don't know if this is directed to me or you, but
I
yeah,
think
I'm
it's for
very
you.
glad.
I think it's for you.
I think it's for both of us. Yeah, I'm glad that we are making a difference. It's great to kind of share stories, and I think what's really important is that we all have a story to tell. We all have something that we're struggling with, and it's important to acknowledge that and be okay with it.
Yeah. And I also
Sharing.
think when you're following people on social media, don't just take it at face value. Try and learn about the person, because not everything, like I've said it so many times in this chat, is true. So you want to surround yourself with the right people and not just have everyone there because it's entertaining. But if you need someone to give you the confidence, someone to help you overcome an addiction, you need to be following the right people who actually walked that path, because they speak from experience and not something they just put on a piece of paper or read about.
Yeah, very true. I see some things that I'm not going to go there. Have you got Peachy? Thank you for that 1 hour tip with the kids. I love that as well. Exercise for an hour with the kids every day. See what else we got here. Deshni started going to dance parties with her kids, and it's a fun way to exercise. That sounds like fun. Awesome.
Yeah, like dancing is such a fun way to burn calories, improve your mood, and just have a good time together.
Cool. Okay, Deshni. Yeah, it was dark and horrible, but I'm grateful for everything I've been through, because like Natasha said, everything you go through in your life kind of shapes and forms who you are today. And I'm quite happy with who I am today, and I'm quite happy with the message I'm sending out. And if I didn't go through every single thing that I've been through, no matter how bad it is, I wouldn't be the person I am today, and I wouldn't be able to share what I'm sharing. So I've had quite a few people ask me, like, don't you wish you weren't an addict? And I think, but I've had some parties that most people haven't. I can tell you that.
Lynn,
it hasn't all been bad.
Your past doesn't define you, but it definitely makes you a stronger person.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. Let me see. How can I improve my motivational skills? Ndivu, do you have any advice for her?
You know what? I think the most important thing is to be honest and true to yourself. And if you're doing it from a place of honesty and with integrity, that in itself is motivational. But it all depends what your story is and what you want to share. Do you just want to inspire a young woman, older woman? It depends on your target and what you want to do. So that is key to how you motivate people. I hope that answered your question.
Cool. I'm losing track of all these comments. There's, wow. And Deshni, she feels sad if one of her kids falls asleep at bedtime while she's in the shower. Yeah, my husband, I put my kids to bed, and then I go down and I give them a kiss afterwards once they've settled down and they're not as rowdy. I go in and give them a good night kiss. And I know that feeling, because often what I do is I work while my husband is putting the kids down after supper, and then I'll like leave it a bit too long, and then they're sleeping, and then I'm like, and then I kiss my daughter and she wakes up and gets angry.
But you know what? I think definitely you obviously like a super amazing mom, but I wouldn't be too hard on myself. Your kids probably remember all the fun stuff you've done throughout the day, and I'm sure you cook 10,000 times for them, and you're very hands-on. So there's a lot of memories. They're not going to remember everything, but they will remember a lot of it. So if you missed a kiss or two because you needed to be clean, it's okay. And I don't think you should really beat yourself up about it. They'll be okay. And as long as you kiss them goodnight, that's still good.
I'll still do it in their sleep. And if they wake up in the morning and say, but you didn't kiss us goodnight, I say, yeah, you were sleeping. I still did it. So they know.
I've got teenagers. So I've got to say, like, can I get a kiss? Where Ashton will kiss me in public, and he's 17 and Skylar's 13, and he's like, this is not cool. So it does get to that stage, so I would prepare myself, Deshni. There's stages when they want nothing to do with you.
My daughter limits me to one kiss in 24 hours. And if I take it before bedtime, then she won't let me take it, which is very sad. My son, on the other hand, gives me enough kisses to make up for everything. So, yeah. And then Angelique says, that's so true. No nookie for the men makes them cry like babies. No comment. I agree.
So funny, but true.
Yeah, and then Emily's agreeing that, the toxic people drain the life out of you, and you need to learn how to allow to have in your circle. That is such a biggie. Oh, this is huge. Angelique, she's been trying to get away from seeing family every weekend, and they're constantly seeing everyone happy except themselves. Yeah, I don't like having a massive social life anymore. I did before I had my husband and children, because that's what I did. Now that you're constantly in the space of other people, I find I guard my weekends, and I think it's
You
fine
know,
to go out with
yeah, I
your
think
friends.
usually
Your husband deal with it.
it's telling that you want to spend time with him. Make it about him. I'm being very manipulative right now, but tell him that that you want to spend time with him, and he'll be very chuffed with it.
Yeah. Or like
And you
I
know
say,
what,
you
guys?
with the family and you go out.
And guys are simple creatures. They want to be
Yeah.
told what to do as much as they won't admit it. Tell them what to do, they'll do it. They really just need to be told. They follow instruction really well. I work with guys, so this is the info I get from the guys. Just tell us what you want and we'll do it. Don't ask us what we think.
My husband missed that memo. He doesn't like being ordered around.
Yeah, I'm doing it right. Chat to me later.
Now I'm going to say that's a whole new thing. I'm going to need a step-by-step guide, because I'm obviously missing something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Natasha, you are a rock star. So brave, so open, so true to yourself.
Well,
Yeah, I think, look, the message here, Destiny, is that, yes, Natasha's awesome. I love her to bits, but you can have that too. And you just need to work on it. You need positive self-talk. Therapy is fantastic. I mean, it's absolutely, I don't know why therapy's got such a bad rap. People are like, well, I'm in therapy, and I think
yeah.
it's something to be proud of. Therapy is not for the faint-hearted. It is,
I,
you
it's
know,
not. Yeah.
going there, learning about yourself and making a choice, making a decision to change yourself. It's big. I
But
think
I
it's
think
amazing.
Daisy, like, somewhat, I'm surmising, and I'm just it's an assumption on my part. Daisy doesn't sound like she leaves her kids and that she's a full on, full in kind of mom. And I think you need to practice, practice, practice to invest in yourself, and all of this becomes a lot easier.
Uh, yeah, I very much agree with that. We've got Sanande asking about Herbalife. What is your opinion on that?
It is a swear word in my book. I yeah, I'm sorry if anyone's selling Herbalife. Absolutely. You know what I hate about it? It's multi-level marketing. You can
Oh,
lose the weight. You can
yes.
lose the weight. I'm sorry. You can lose
No,
the weight by just eating right. And I lost, when I first started this journey in 2017, lost the weight by just eating clean. No diets, no supplements. I ate healthy and I exercised more than I ate. And I lost 15 kgs. Check it out on my Instagram. You have to scroll down quite a bit to see my transformation. Guys, you don't need to spend on supplements and diets and all these products. The industry makes money off us because losing weight is so hard. Oh, there's my battery about to go. Ah,
okay, so we're going to have to wrap this up. I
yeah,
was going to give you that to answer, because I also detest Herbalife and I detest multi-level marketing. It sucks, and I agree 100%. I just thought maybe you'd have something more polite to say.
sorry. No.
Well, moving on swiftly. Okay, so Natasha's battery's about to die. I think we'll both probably head onto each other's pages and answer questions and all of that. But I
Yes.
think because you're going to be dropping out soon, I think we're going to wrap it up. We basically are done. Is there anyone that stands out for you as a winner?
Oh my gosh, please don't do that to me. You choose. I can't choose.
Okay, fine. We'll go with
You can
Deshni.
choose.
We've been chatting to her quite a lot. We're going to go with Deshni, Melissa, Kristen. And you can, I don't know which page you are on. So you can either go to my Kaboutjie page and inbox me, or you can inbox Natasha on her page, if that's where you are. Or you can just pop me an email to lynn@kaboutjie.com. And
Yeah. And
we'll
hopefully
get
my
you.
son is done with his appointment and I can get to real life. You see, this is the real life, guys. Your kids rule your life. You're a chauffeur half the time.
Yeah, perfect. Doing your live outside the appointment. Awesome. Natasha, thank you so much. This has been absolutely fantastic. It's been amazing. So much fun. I've learned a lot. You've lifted me up. I love anybody that lifts me up and builds me up, and you've really done that today. It's been fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity. I'm so grateful, but I appreciate you sharing your story. It's nice to hear that end of your story as well. And I really appreciate you and what you do. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And thanks everyone for listening. I
Yes,
appreciate that as well, guys. So chat to me on the DMs. I always respond. I'm really bad in comments, but DMs I do get to.
I'm the other way around. Awesome. Great. Have a great weekend. Bye.
Bye, guys.